Kia ora koutou katoa, no mai ara mai ki te ao Hākinakina, your sports show right here on your Tribal Pulse, Te Kura Mako o Taranaki, 94.8 FM and 98.4 FM. He not only does he run the National Ariki competition for Kura Kaupapa Māori, he also supports the running of the Rahi competition through Taranaki Secondary Schools Sports. On top of this, he holds the role as Wharekura Kaiako e Te Kura o Ngāruahine. No mai, ara mai, Chester Vella. Kia ora, my bro.
Tēnā koe o tira, tēnā rā tātou katoa.
Awesome to have you on the show, brother. Really excited about having a kōrero to you about a pretty amazing sport, Māori sport. But before we get started, ko wai koe no he koe, just a bit about yourself and where you're from.
Tēnā koe, Caps. O tira te kori mako, me te unga e wakarongo mai ana, uri tō tātou maunga. Tēnā koutou ko Chester Vella tōku ingoa. Uri tēnei, no te maunga tito ia no Ngāruahine rangi, no roto ia wai o Kura Marae, Ngāti tū apu. O tira, tupu ai au ki te roe o Tamaki Nui Ārua. Wānau au ki reira, koeira taku ukaipo, e raukurau no te Kura Kaupapa Māori o Tamaki Nui Ārua. I tēnei wā, iwa tau au i nānei e kaiako ki te kura o Ngāruahine rangi, toko rima aku tamariki, ngā pakeketanga katoa o te kura. Ai, nō reira tēnā tātou.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Me, man, good to have you on the show. Now, tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Like as a youngster, was there sports that you kind of played as a youngster, and what inspired you to get into Kiorahi?
Yeah, tēnā koe, Caps. So I was born and bred in Dannyvirk. It's a rugby strong town. So rugby was a sport to play. It's a small town, small community. There's a bit of basketball. Of course, it's the home of the Dannyvirk Tigers rugby league club as well. But gee, I was just a Māori boy growing up. Anytime there was a sport to play, we were in there playing it, just for the fun, for the love, or running around, jumping around, and giving a bit of stick to all the bros.
There's some. I hope Wella Hauraki and Rangi Chase, the boys from Dannyvirk, hope they're tuning in. Some pretty good sportsmen and women from over that way. So, how did you get into Kiorahi?
Yeah, Kiorahi probably got introduced to me and my mates back when we were in secondary school, and it's the bro Troy Tāwhai. He's still doing a lot of mahi around Kiorahi today. He introduced the sport to us and pretty much said, "Do you want to learn this game?" And we were into it. We got to playing. I mean, I tell you what, somebody can explain the rules to you and you won't understand it. You just got to get on the field, start playing, and it don't take long before you understand the game. It's an awesome game, and like you said, it's traditional Māori game. So as the years have gone on, I've learned a lot more about this sport, thanks to ngā taonga tākaro. They've done a huge mahi in revitalising this ancient tradition among our people. So some of the kōrero that goes as traditional Māori game that our ancestors used to play. And some hapu used to play it to wakatau I te tihi āhuatanga I wainganui ngā hapu. If they were disputing over something, they would use Kiorahi as a way to settle the dispute. Played on our marae ātea, and of course, as when the colonials come in and introduce things like the Tohunga Suppression Act and everything else that suppressed our people, Kiorahi was one of the things that were lost. And an amazing story that I heard was when our ancestors went to World War II, during their breaks between all the war. They would play this game, and so countries in Europe and even America know this traditional Māori game, Kia Rahi, because our ancestors taught it to them during World War II, which is amazing. But yeah, only I think 2000 and or in the 2000s anyway is when it started getting revitalized in New Zealand amongst our people. And so when we first started playing, man, we used anything to play, any ball we could find. And of course, you have the tipu in the middle, which we just, at our lunch times, would use our rubbish bin when we finished eating, pull the rubbish bag out, take the bin onto the field. Any sticks we could find as our po. Anything, shoes, socks for our markers. The game was so early, they weren't kits like their flash kits like they are these days. We just used anything as long as we got to play. And from what I've learnt, there's 3 different versions. There's touch, where you play it by tagging the person who's carrying the ball, or there's ripper, or even tackle. Yeah, so it's a beautiful, beautiful traditional Māori game. Now, when I finished my teacher training and moved up here, and I was kind of looking around and starting to get to know people and asking around about Kia Rahi, and there wasn't much happening in the Kia Rahi scene at that time. So I think in 2018, I got an email from Lani Wallace, and we started talking. And of course, I started getting to know other Kaiako from other Kura at the same time. And we come together and said, let's have a tournament. Let's have a Kia Rahi tournament. So we Te Kura Ngāruahine rangi and Sport Taranaki, along with the help of Te Pīpinga Kākano mai rangi Ate Ngāti Ruanui, we hosted a Kia Rahi tournament for our secondary kids. And there was us, our 3 Kura, Waitara High School and Pātea. And that's how we started. And I remember it was so funny. We started, and Ngāruahine was such a little Kura. I think I had the likes of 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds playing just so we could field a team. But it was so cool. It was fun. Pātea took it out that year, and from that they were able to go on to nationals. And then 2019 we did it again. Pātea won it again that year. They were an awesome team back in those days, and it's really grown since then. Thanks to TSSA now, they take on all the admin and all the organising of the sport. We help out on the day, our Kura Kaupapa Māori and our Kia Rahi community, painting our fields and supplying kits and whatnot, and refs. Big shout out. Last year, actually, we had a good contingent of ex-students who came back to ref. So I actually really love that, because I've been refied for 5 previous years and had them moaning at all my calls. So I finally got to get them back with a bit of stick at their reffing, and I loved every minute of it.
Oh, well, that would have been a hard case, getting a bit of payback, say. But what a beautiful whakapapa of an amazing Māori sports, and beautiful to hear, the alignment with the sport, with our Māori values and traditions. It's really, really awesome to hear, and I look forward to hearing more. Make sure to stay tuned, Pāno. We're going to go to a quick break now and be back to speak with Chester more about how you can get involved with Kia Rahi, an amazing Māori sport. Kia ora koutou, e te iwi nau mai haramai ki te ao Hākinakina. We're back here with Chester Vella having a mean kōrero wana about Kia Rahi and hearing about the whakapapa and how it's really growing here in Taranaki. Now, Chester, how do you, with the growth of the sport, how do you ensure the cultural integrity of Kia Rahi is kind of maintained as the sport grows?
Yeah, that's a good question, Kips, because it's cool. Nationals was held down in secondary nationals was held down in Palmy this year, and we've played Kia Rahi up in Te Tai Tokero up on Waitangi, down in Christchurch, Rotorua, Tamaki Makaurau, and every region has different rules. So it's not there's no national board that sets the rules out for the whole country. You go into a different region, a different iwi, and they have their own set of rules, which is amazing. I think that definitely holds Māori values, because we're not all the same, you know. Our tikanga on the marae are different. Our tikanga with hongi are different. Koha, our own reels different. So why wouldn't we have different rules according to which hapu we're in, or which iwi we're in, or which region we're in? So I think that's amazing. What I don't know is I don't know of any traditional kōrero of Kia Rahi specific to Taranaki. If there are any scholars out there that do know, I'd love to hear it, so we can recreate rules that specifically match our tikanga. That would be amazing for me, and that would be how we can grow this sport.
I love that. I love that uniqueness about each rohe having their own tikanga around the game, which is amazing, and that's really cool. So what about like your approach to training and development? Like how does that kind of roll with, you know, some of our players locally that want to really kind of push hard in Kia Rahi? How does all that work?
An awesome thing about Kia Rahi is that it's not a one size fits all. It's a combination probably of touch, basketball, netball, and all those incorporated skills. One of the main things when I'm preparing my students is they got to get used to the type of ball. So most of the things our practices involve the ball movements, mainly passing and catching, because it's just a different type of ball. But the types of skills used, the ability to rip tags, because that's how we play in secondary. We rip the tags. That's a huge skill to learn. Otherwise, timing, hand-eye coordination is huge. Teamwork, specifically for our secondaries, it's 4 males, 4 females on the field. So teamwork is huge, and mahitahi is huge. You know, the wahine have to contribute just as much as the tāne and the tāne, because we know how our teenagers are, and the tāne have to create a space where the wahine feel comfortable to, you know, show us what they got. So it's awesome how it works.
Oh, I love that, eh? It's a real whānau approach to the sport, you know, and everyone's just as important as each other. which is really, really awesome. What are some of your goals, or what would you like to see for the future of Kiorahi, both here locally and kind of internationally?
Well, locally, we need to catch up with the rest of the motu, I suppose. One of the things we've saw it on national level was the skill, specifically at Wiki Hākinakina down in Christchurch last year. What I saw there was the growth of an actual Kiorahi player, where before you had a player who's good at touch, you chuck them in there. You have a player who's good at netball, you chuck them in there. But now, what I saw last year was actual players who are growing up to be Kiorahi players and developing that sort of skill. So locally, I'd love a primary module, intermediate module, onto high school module, onto adult module, because it's such a awesome game for all our people to play in. It's a good kaupapa, hauora, teaching us reo, teaching us tikanga all at the same time. So some modules would be good just to get that weekly exposure, where our kids are playing the game consistently, and constantly. And we can match up better against the rest of the motu when it comes to things like nationals.
Love that. There we go. There's the whittle for our Taranaki whānau. Make sure we get him behind Kiorahi, the amazing sport, and it'd be great to see us on that national stage, giving some of those top rohe a bit of a go. Now, how has Kiorahi had an impact on your community, on our kura kids at Ngāruahine and some of those that are involved with Kiorahi? What kind of impact has that had on their lives?
One of the immediate thoughts that comes to mind was Taranaki Tūmai. The last couple of Taranaki Tūmai. What I've saw, it's mostly our kura kids who are in those Kiorahi teams, and some fierce, good competitive games between us at Taranaki Tūmai. And I love seeing that development. How it helps is it's another reconnection to our tupuna. It's another reconnection to our history, and it's another reconnection to our tradition. So it can only help entrench us more in our Māori being.
Love that. There we have it, whānau. There we have it. Make sure you get involved with the game, whānau. Taranaki Tūmai this year out at in Opunake. Should be a good another little fierce battle in the Kiorahi field, I'm sure, bro. Where else can people join up? Like, is it just at Kura, or is it just at Tūmai, just events like that where we can have a go?
At the moment in Taranaki, yes. I did hear of a under 21 comp down in Wellington. There was a year 9-10. Nationals has just started up over the last couple of years. But yeah, last year they had under 21 and a open grade sort of a comp down in Wellington, and I think I heard that the East Coast won that. So they've got the guns at the moment. But yeah, I think things are starting to kick off for Kiorahi. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful. Well, thanks for your time coming on the show, Chester, and appreciate you sharing the beautiful whakapapa of Kiorahi and how it's continuing to grow here in Taranaki and abroad. Look forward to seeing all our whānau hit the Kiorahi field at Taranaki Tūmai this year, and keep up the awesome mahi that you do to help grow the game and support our rangatahi and our people through this amazing game that holds so much mana and so much history. So kia ora, bro.
Tēnā koe. Tēnā tātou.